Number 3, DJ Jenkins. Number 4, JJ Herzog. Number 5, Jude Garza. Number 14, Brady Caspar. Number 19, Andy Rodriguez. Number 21, Brady Howell. And number 26, Trenton Turner. And the Wranglers are coached by Emery Atkinson, Mike Cockrell, Jeff Maddox, and Cody Remore. At this time, please rise and remove your caps for the playing of the national anthem.
You are looking live at Legacy Ranch High School here in Liberty Hill, Texas, as we get ready for the second game of this matchup between your Manor New Tech Titans and the Legacy Ranch Wranglers. Good evening, everybody. My name is Dalton Brown. Merle Bertrand, our broadcasting director, Suna Vancat, our product manager, and Les DeSalvo is our quality analyst, making sure that every aspect of this game is brought to you in the most perfect quality. Well, we heard a rendition of Whitney Houston's Super Bowl performance of the Star Spangled Banner from back in the 90s prior to this game, as we get set and ready to go for the second matchup of this series. The last game had some notable moments in it, including a pitching matchup from Blake DeShazo as he put down 6 2/3 innings, striking out 12 over those innings before eventually being taken out of the game before the last out. So a excellent pitching performance there by Blake as we get set for this one. The starting lineup for your Manor New Tech Titans are as follows. Leading off and playing center field is Kingston Coulter, number 1. Catching will be Nate Salinak. He'll be batting second. Zane Thomas will be batting third, playing shortstop. Ahmad Riley will be playing first base, batting cleanup. Gabriel Posada will be taking number 5 hole, playing second base. Luis Villegas, the starting pitcher in the last game, will now play the DH role. Evan Langham will be playing left field. Chris Snead patrolling right. And Eddie Lancona batting ninth and pitching, taking the bump. Dom Hidalgo will be playing third base and only playing defense for this game. The starting pitcher tonight for Legacy Ranch, taking the hill last game. In this game is going to be Cohen Pickle. He played the hot corner last game and went 1 for 5, striking out 3 times, grounding out to short, getting a base hit last game, so now he'll get a chance on the bump in this one. With the last game that we saw, the Wranglers enter this one on fire as they won their last 7 games in a row when they took down Manor New Tech 7-3, with the pitching showing, of course. The offense, though, has been a key factor. We'll talk more about that offense, which has averaged 19 runs per game in the last 7 for this hot-hitting Wranglers team, as we get set and ready to go with first pitch here at the 7:30 hour. As Kingston Coulter leads this one off. He went 4 1/3 innings last game, pitching to 8 strikeouts after Starting pitcher Luis Villegas was unable to get more than that first out, and first pitch will get underway here as Pickle will deliver from the windup. First pitch of tonight's game at 7:29 p.m. Fastball in the outside corner for a strike, 0-1. Kingston Coulter, like we mentioned before, has been a solid contact hitter, so he's been able to put the ball in the outfield with some serious heat. The 0-1 to Coulter. Fastball just a bit outside, 1-1 the count. Tried for the off speed that time, but missed his spot. And it evens up the count. From what we saw in warm-ups, though, Pickle has a solid fastball, and that off-speed stuff looks like something he'll go to every now and then. Fastball back on the outside corner. Called strike 2, 1-2 the count to Kingston. Not wasting any time, Pickle going right back to it. Here's the 1-2 pitch by Pickle. Fastball a little too far outside for a ball, 2-2, evening up the count. One thing Coulter is good at early in games is building up counts and being able to make that starting pitcher work early on. Here's the 2-2 pitch to Coulter. Chopped right back to the pitcher. He'll make a field, routinely flip this one to first in time for the out, and that'll be a 1-3 putout for Coulter as the first out of the inning. Now we'll take a look at the defensive alignment for the Wranglers. Pitching, of course, is Pickle. Going behind the plate is going to be A.J. Martinez. First base will be Cannon Fitz. Dyer will be playing second. The shortstop for this game will be Landon Richer. Third base and only playing third will be Brady Howes, as we'll get to the lineup here in a moment. Here's Nate Selenak at the plate as he takes strike 1, 0-1 on the inside corner. The 0-1 to Selenak. Off speed just a bit high, 1-1 the count to Selenak. Last game, Selenak went 0 for 2 at the plate, striking out once and grounding out to second. Fly ball third base side. I believe this one will get out of play, and it will, and it'll get to a 1-2 count to Selenak. The left fielder will be Blake DeShazo in this game, the starting pitcher from last game. Center fielder will be Kenneth DeLeon, and right field will be Landon McKay. Ball low, 2-2. So that is the defensive alignment for the home team Wranglers, as we get to another 2-2 count. The 2-2 pitch to the lefty. Swing and a miss, strike 3 as Selenak goes down swinging for the second out of the inning. Well,
Number 7, St. Thomas.
Well, we saw there, Pickle went right back to the fastball. That time he went to the high outside corner, was able to get a chase from Selenak, who has been a solid fastball hitter this season, and it shows there. Here's St. Thomas now to the plate, as he goes for the off-speed pitch outside for a ball, 1-0. Thomas last game, who came in relief, he struck out 4 batters, but struggled to prevent runs in that game. It's the 1-0. Fastball is a ball, 2-0. However, with his bat, he still made some offense, as he was credited with the first RBI of the game on that fielding error, which started a small 2-out rally in the third. The 2-0 pitch. Off speed, foul back into the screen, 2-1 count. Thomas's speed and his arm strength have been on display throughout the entirety of the season, and it showed in that matchup when he was pitching, as he doesn't like to take time in between pitches. Here's the 2-1 to Thomas. Off speed, popped up first base side. I believe this will be out of reach of Fitz, and it will be 2-2. Well, like we mentioned early in the season, Zane Thomas's power and speed combination kind of has the 5 tools that you would see out of guys like Alex Rodriguez back in the 90s. Here's the 2-2 pitch to Thomas. Off speed, poked up the middle. This one's going to be caught routinely. Nice little can of corn there by Kenneth DeLeon, and that will end the inning. So 3 up, 3 down will start the frame as we go to the bottom of the first inning. The Wranglers will get a chance to bat. Your Titans will try and get the defense going. You're watching Manor New Tech Titans Baseball on the Vype Sports Media Network. Manor New Tech Baseball on the Vype Sports Media Network. A 3-up, 3-down inning in the top half of the innings until we will get ourselves the starting lineup for the Legacy Ranch Wranglers in the batting order. Leading off and playing second base will be Landon Dyer. Batting second and playing first will be Cannon Fitz. The pitcher, Cohen Pickle, who played third last game, will be playing the role as pitcher. The designated hitter, Alex Hoppick, will be batting fourth. Blake DeShazo, the pitcher in the last game, will be playing left field, batting fifth. Kenneth DeLeon will be playing center field. We'll listen to the public address announcer.
Leading off for the Wranglers, number 12, Landon Dyer.
A.J. Martinez, the catcher, will be batting seventh. Landon Richard, the shortstop, will be batting eighth. And Landon McCain will be batting ninth, playing right field. The third baseman, Brady Howes, will be only playing defense. So here's Landon Dyer, the leadoff hitter at the plate, as he takes strike one on the inside corner, 0-1. Pitching today will be Eddie Lincona on the mound. Lincona having a solid arsenal of fastball and off-speed stuff that he's able to use well. Here's the 0-1. On the outside corner for a ball, 1-1. Lincona is one of those guys who you'll see that has solid corner painting skills, kind of like Greg Maddox, where he's able to paint corners and keep the velocity in check. Here's a 1-1. Foul down the third base side, 1-2 to count early to Landon Dyer. Count 1-2. Dyer in the last game was hit by a pitch, walked, and got 2 base hits before striking out. He also stole a base in the last game, showing off the wheels that he's got from the left-handed batter's box. Here's the 1-2 pitch to Dyer. Off speed, called for a ball, 2-2, just missing that outside corner that he wanted to try and get. A frame job by Nate Salinag to no avail. So 2-2 count, going from the windup. Here's the pitch. Popped up right field, camping underneath this one is going to be Sneed, and he'll drop it. Sneed could not come up with it on that one, and we'll see how that one is ruled on the scorecard. I bet you that's going to be ruled.
Number 29, Cannon Fitz.
And E9 more than likely might have been a base hit, but of course we will see here in just a moment. So I think it's going to be ruled a hit on that one, and I think that's what they're going to give it to him. So that'll be a single, and that brings up Cannon Fitz to the plate, the second straight left-handed batter in this lineup, as Dyer takes a good lead off at first. Pitches outside for a ball, 1-0. Well, Sneed had to get underneath that ball with the hard winds blowing from right to left. That's a tough job for an outfielder when that ball gets too high in the air. That wind starts to take effect, and you start to try and scramble for it. Here's the 1-0 to Fitz. Ball inside, 2-0 the count to Fitz. Fitz in the last game, unfortunately for a little bit, got bruised up as he got 2 hit by pitches in that one before getting that base hit in revenge. Able to send a message early. Here's the 2-0 pitch to left-handed hitting Fitz. Low in the ground, 3-0 the count. For a second there, I thought about to see a third hit by pitch in this series to Fitz, who has also been able to put a bat on the ball, and then my phone went off thinking I said Siri. No, I said Fitz. 3-0 count to Fitz. Checking that runner back to first, not in time. And that wind in right field is now starting to die down just a little bit. I'm sure that's something that Sneed's looking at and preparing for. Big lead off at first by Dyer. Here's the 3-0 pitch to Fitz. Inside corner, called for strike, 3-1. He tried the fastball, and that one was able to paint that corner on that one, and we get to a 3-1 count. The defense in that last game was something that we also noticed from Fitz, who was able to make some solid picks at first base and a couple of solid plays. Runner goes, pitches a strike, throw down is not in time, and Dyer gets his second stolen base of the series like he did last game. So a full count, 3-2 to Fitz. And that's the same thing that we saw last time. Dyer does it early on again. He's able to get a good lead early. Take off right as that left foot came up. Here's the 3-2. Inside, ball 4. And Cannon Fitz will draw the walk. And just like last game, runners on first and second with nobody out.
Number 22, Cohen Pickell.
So pitcher Cohen Pickell at the plate went 1 for 5 last game. Got a base hit and struck out 3 times. Base hit coming in his first at bat of the game. coming off of Luis Villegas. Big lead off at second, more conservative lead at first. First baseman in on the grass, third baseman saying motto. Bunt drawn, bunt gets down over to the pitcher who fielded over to his right, threw it first, and the kick by Ahmad Riley is no good. That'll be ruled a bunt single. Actually, they're going to rule that one an error on that one, so we're going to go ahead and credit him with the E1 on that one. And a new pinch run. Hey, we got some help from somebody in the crowd, thank God. A courtesy runner now will be Harrison, number 2. A little fun moment there. That juices up the bases here for the designated hitter, Alex Hoppick at the plate. First pitch is chopped down the third baseline, foul, 0-1. So, just like the last game, we start off with the bases loaded. And Hoppick coming up to the plate. He walked twice in the last game. One of those walks being an RBI before striking out twice. Lencona will go from the windup. Infielders in. Here's the 0-1. Off-speed pitch. Called strike 2. 0-2 just on that outside corner. Early on in the first inning, we see the second baseman and shortstop playing near the grass. The corner is also in. Trying to play the force play at home. And time called. And we're not sure who called time. It seemed to be a recurring issue in the last game for some folks, as time was called at some strange times in that last one. Here's the 0-2. Inside corner, called strike 3. So Hoppick goes down on strikes. First K of the game by Lencona as he's able to show that breaking ball and get the first out of the inning. And a good breaking ball there, starting from the inside part of the plate near the batter's box before breaking in and catching that corner and being able to collect that strikeout. So here's Blake DeShazo at the plate, the starting pitcher in the last one, went 6 2/3 innings, striking out 12. As that first pitch is high for a ball, 1-0. And at the plate, he walked twice, popped out to the pitcher, and was hit by a pitch. So he's able to do some action at the plate as well while contributing on the mound, and that's always a confidence booster for your starting pitcher. Whenever you're able to get to the plate and still get on base any way you can while taking the bump, it brings a confidence boost for yourself and for your team all around, and a giant momentum boost at that. And of course, catcher and pitcher will go ahead and do a quick meeting before continuing on. 1-0 count in this at bat. Infielders still in, second base and shortstop playing a little further back. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Runners go! A steal of home, the plate, no play, and that'll be a throw to first in time. So a suicide squeeze gets the runner in, a sacrifice bunt, and there will be 2 away here in the inning. A nice running job there by Landon Dyers. He went right away and hold up timeouts called as the umpire. I think has some words on that one.
He can't say good job. He was like bumped up at the...
And not sure what that meeting was about, but regardless, we're going to talk about that for just a moment right after the public address announcer mentions our next batter. So a good job by Dyer running right away as soon as the foot came up, seeing the bunt drawn and going for the steal of home or suicide squeeze at that, and a successful bunt there by Blake DeShazo. So here's Kenneth DeLeon at the plate, takes ball 1 on the outside corner, 1-0. We're not sure what that meeting, what the home plate umpire was about, but I'm sure we'll get some more word later on in the game. 1-0 pitch. Grounded down the first base side, foul, 1-1. DeLeon had a RBI flyout, a walk, and a base hit in the last game, so he went 1 for 1. With that sacrifice and with the walk and base hit. Batting a perfect 1,000 in that game. Here's the 1-1 to DeLeon. Curveball just inside for a ball, 2-1. So infielders get back again, knowing the only force is now at first. Here's the 2-1 pitch to DeLeon. Fastball outside for a ball, 3-1 the count. And you know that Lancona wants to try and get out of this inning, start a momentum boost for the Titans, who sort of had that issue in the last game, getting out of that first inning. The 3-1 pitch to DeLeon. Popped up center field. It should be playable. Coulter going back over to his right. He'll make a catch on that can of corn. Inning over, but not before the Wranglers strike first in this one. As we go to the top of the second inning, the Titans look to come back in this one. Wranglers strike first. You are watching Manor New Tech Baseball on the Vype Sports Media Network. We'll be right back after this short break. Manor New Tech Baseball on the Vype Sports Media Network. The Wranglers draw first blood in this one. We listen to the public address announcer mention the leadoff hitter.
Number 12, Ahmad Riley.
Well, here's Ahmad Riley at the plate. Last game he was credited with a 2 RBI single as he was able to tie up the game on Tuesday with the last of the 3 runs that Manor New Tech scored in that game. As this one's chopped down to third base side foul, 1-1 the count. Riley, always being known as a contact hitter with some serious pop, knows how to get the bat on the ball consistently. He's not a guy that's going to go without a base hit very often. Here's the 1-1. Outside part of the plate, called the ball, 2-1 the count to Riley. And like we mentioned, the last game was the first time that Manor had not scored more than 5 runs since early February. This one's popped foul behind the plate, 2-2. If you want to talk about when was the last time they hadn't scored more than 5 runs, was you have to go back to February against Smithville when they only scored 3 in that game. A team that has always had the offense up. Here's the 2-2. Fastball high, checked his swing. Did he go? No, he did not, says first base umpire. Full count, 3-2. Pickle has gone fastball multiple times in this at bat. Here's the payoff pitch. Fastball outside, called the ball, and the first the first Titan base runner gets on base in Ahmad Riley. Leadoff hitter on. And that's just a good at bat there by Ahmad Riley, who has a solid eye, knows the plate, knows the strike zone, and knows which pitches to take and which ones to offer it. And that time he finds his pitch, fouls them off, and then finds the ones he doesn't like, and swings at it. There's a strike, 0-1 the count. So here's Gabriel Posada at the plate. He went 1 for 3 in the last game with a base hit and a ground out. Playing second base today. Checking the runner at first, not in time as Pickle tried to catch Riley off guard and does not do so. 0-1. Riley with a more conservative lead at first. Pickle from the stretch. dugout chanting, trying to get some timing off, and time called as Posada tried to avoid the possible time management game on that one as Pickle tries to go at his own tempo. Still 0-1. The 0-1 pitch. Off speed, outside for a ball, 1-1 as catcher Martinez looks back over to first before throwing back, keeping that runner steady. The 1-1 count. Here's the pitch. Outside, this time clips the corner, called for a strike, 1-2. Tried the corner a second time, and that time got it. Gets to a 2-strike count. So the fourth 2-strike count we've seen Pickle get to in this game. Checking the runner back to first as ball is dropped, but Riley will remain at first. A good job here by this Wranglers defense trying to make sure none of these runners get too comfortable, no matter how small or how big the lead is, keeping them in check. Keep as much distance close as possible. 1-2 pitch to Posada. Fastball outside for a ball, 2-2. He missed the plate on that one. And the count evened up. Well, Posada having some games where he's gotten some sacrifice RBIs. Some solid plays where he's hit the ball the other way. Swing and miss, strike 3. Throw down to second as Riley goes, and it is not in time as Riley successfully steals second on that one, avoiding the strike him out, throw him out double play. One gone here in the inning, but Pickle collects his second strikeout of the game. One gone, runner 180 feet away from tying this game.
Number 17, Luis Villegas.
And with the lead that Riley was getting, you know that it takes some lightning speed to get to there, and that's what we were talking about earlier with this Manor New Tech offense, is they got the speed to keep the runs going in any way, shape, or form they need to. So here's Luis Villegas at the plate, the starting pitcher on Tuesday's game, playing the DH role in this one. Villegas swings and misses at the off-speed pitch, first strike, 0-1. Villegas went 0 1/3 inning in the last one, giving up 3 runs, and unfortunately unable to get out of that first inning in the last one, but still being a solid contributor today, getting this team ready. Here's the 0-1. Curveball down the third base line. That one is fair. Rounding third and heading for the plate is Riley. And there will be no throw to the plate as Villegas will get into second. Head first slide safe. And an RBI double for Luis Villegas as he shows that momentum shift. A 1-1 tie game here in the top of the second.
Number 9, Evan Langley.
Well, that first pitch that he saw was a curveball. He swung early. That time he saw the curveball, decided to go early again and just pull it down the third base line. He successfully does so and gets that RBI double to get this one tied up. An excellent job of hitting there, being able to see that curveball, being able to poke it there. Fine, perfect placement. So here's Evan Langham at the plate, the left fielder in this one, as he takes ball 1-1-0. Langham in the last game went 0 for 3 with a flyout, grounded and a strikeout. So he takes ball 2 on the fastball, 2-0 the count. And man, I tell you what, it feels good for Villegas, especially after last game, to get that double. You know that that's such a momentum shifter for this Manor New Tech offense, as that's something like that helps him get fired up. The 2-0 pitch to Langham. Popped up first base side. I believe that'll be out of play, and it will. And correction, I said 2-1, 1-2. Not a lot of areas to throw for facing these guys like this who are putting the bat on the ball after that first run. The 1-2 pitch. Poked to right field. That's going to be a base hit for Langham, who just got a piece of that one and pushed it the other way for a single in the right field. That's back-to-back hits for the Manor New Tech Titans, and suddenly got runners on the corners with one out.
Number 8, Chris Sneed.
And just like we mentioned earlier with Villegas, same story here for Langham, who last game had gone 0 for 3, and this time coming into this one, he just pokes one out to right field, gets a nice little single. Each runner advances a single base. So a go-ahead run now 90 feet away from scoring, but there is an open base at second. As Chris Sneed comes up to the plate, the left-handed hitter who had to face the challenges of right field just a second ago. That right to left wind now blowing towards home plate. Don't let that 80-degree weather fool you here in Liberty Hill. Still some high winds as it still feels like 76. First pitch to Sneed. Fastball inside corner called for a strike 0-1, and Martinez just looking to run her back to third, trying to keep him close. Early on fastball, you know that he's going to be looking for that again. He's also trying to see where that off speed is, knowing that that is a nasty pitch in the arsenal. And he sees it there on that changeup, swinging a miss for a strike 0-2. Runner at first taking a small lead. Villegas, same thing there. And time called again as an attempt to disrupt a little bit of the timing for Pickle. Kind of try and control the tempo himself. So Pickle will try again on the 0-2 count. The 2-strike offering to Sneed. Swing and a miss, strike 3, and the mind games don't work as Sneed goes down swinging. Third strikeout of the game for Pickle, and there's 2 away here in the inning.
Number 3, Eddie Lacoma.
Well, you think that he called time because first you get that first pitch fastball followed by the off speed, and you're just trying to take a second to kind of mentally prepare yourself before you see the next pitch coming because you don't know what to sit on. So here's the number 9 here, the pitcher, Eddie Lancona, to the plate as he takes strike 1 on the outside corner, 0-1. Lancona started the last inning with the bases loaded, but was able to get out of it, only allowing 1 run. Runner on the corners. The 0-1 pitch to Lancona. Fastball outside, just missing the zone, called for a ball, 1-1 the count. Lancona last game walked twice and struck out. Looks to do some damage here early. Solid lead at first. Fastball outside corner, this time called for a strike, 2-strike count again. And Pickle using that fastball as a corner painter, doing an excellent job combining velocity and accuracy. The 1-2 pitch to Lancona. Time called, not granted. Off speed, called, strike 3, inning over. So 2 men left on base, 1 run on the inning by a Luis Villegas RBI double as Pickle collects his 4th strikeout of the game. So we will go to the bottom of the second. New Tech draws blood. It is an even up game. You are watching Manor New Tech Baseball on the Vype Sports Media Network. Titans baseball, the Vype Sports Media Network heads to the bottom half of the second inning after Manor New Tech was able to get that first run of the game to tie it up. Brings up A.J. Martinez to the plate. Swing and miss for a strike, 0-1 on the off-speed pitch. He tried to sit fastball right there and took a mighty hack on that one. Martinez sent back. Here's the 0-1. Another off-speed pitch called. Swung and missed for a strike, 0-2. Last game, Martinez went 0 for 3, striking out, popping out twice, and drawing a walk in those at-bats. Faces 2 off-speed pitches and an 0-2 count. That time he goes with the heater outside for a ball, 1-2. Lincolno unsuccessful in the top half of the inning to get that runner across from third, so he's coming in with a little bit of heat. Here's the 1-2. Popped up in the infield. Shortstop coming in underneath that. And making a play is Landon Richer on that one. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Zane Thomas making a play on that one. For the first out of the inning. Made good use of the off-speed pitches there by Lancona as he's able to get Martinez to be early on those pitches and eventually get him to pop up on that one for the first out of the inning. So here's Landon Richer at the plate, taking ball 1-0 the count, 1-0 the count to Richer. Last game, Richer played shortstop but didn't get at-bats in that one. An opportunity here to make some work at the plate. And now it's inside for a ball, 2-0. Wind somewhat dying down, and Thomas was not having too much trouble on that pop-up as we saw in the first inning. Here's the 2-0. Swing and a miss on the changeup. Count is now 2-1. And Richard once again seeing a hitter's count of 2-0. Prepare for that pitch down the middle. Swung at that one, but got to the off speed. 2-2. Foul back first base side. 2-2 the count. And the bat boy comes around, picks up that foul ball, and throws it back to the home plate umpire patrolling home plate. Wind continues to blow out from right to left. Here's the 2-2 pitch over to Richer. Change up outside, called for a ball, 3-2. Just trying to paint the corner on that one and missed. And we got ourselves a full count. Zane Thomas seemed to lose his hat out there in the wind as he had to chase that one down over to his right and reset. The payoff pitch to Landon Richer. Curveball, called strike 3. Painting the inside corner on that one, says home plate umpire, and there is now 2 away here in the inning.
Number 13, Landon McKay.
And once again, he went right back to the off-speed stuff, the pitch that breaks in from the inner part of the plate near the right-handed batter's box and just clips the inside corner. A close pitch that could go either way, but called strike 3. Here's Landon McKay at the plate, who grounds one over to Thomas. Nice little throw over to first to Riley. Inning over. So 1-2-3 inning there as Manor New Tech is able to draw some revenge from the top half of the first inning as we go into the top half of the third inning. Game still tied in this when you're watching Titans Baseball on the Vype Sports Media Network. Titans baseball on the Vype Sports Media Network. 3 up, 3 down inning as the Titans were able to get out of that one quickly. And we go back to the top half of the lineup, and here's Kingston Coulter at the plate. Curveball inside for a ball, 1-0. Kingston Coulter grounded out to Pickle in his last at-bat after drawing a count 2-2. Poked over to the second baseman. Diving stop and nice play by Landon Dyer as he's able to dive over to make that catch. One gone here in the inning. As these a nice little play going over to his left, diving for that one in the dirt and making a nice little snag for the first out of the inning. Bringing in Nate Salinak to the plate. As an infielder, from other angles, that ball doesn't look like it's coming in quite fast, but that ball looks like it's coming in at 100 miles an hour when you're playing an infield position. Pitch outside for a ball, 2-0. So a nice play there by the second baseman, able to dive in and make that one. Count 2-0. Here's the 2-0 pitch to Salinak. Pitch is low, ball 3-0, going right back to the fastball on that one and missing. And a hitter's count 3-0. 3-0 pitch. Inside, ball 4. 4-pitch walk to Nate Salinak, and he gets on first base with that one.
Number 7 is Zane Thomas.
Well, last game he drew one walk on that one before striking out in his first at-bat, so this is kind of a repeat of last game on that regard. Bringing a runner on first, and here's Zane Thomas at the plate. Thomas put some good bat on the ball. Put metal to the ball, I guess you should say, because usually you say wood, but this is high school. And flew out to center field. That first pitch is a 12-6 curveball for a strike, 0-1. Going for a midnight to dinner time on that curveball. Changing up the eye level. 0-1 count for Thomas. Decent lead at first. Time not granted. Grounder, base hit to right field. Time is not needed as Zane Thomas pokes that one into right field for a nice little base hit. Runners on first and second with one out. And like we discussed last game, home plate umpire does not have to grant time on that one. It is a request, not an order by the batter.
Number 12, Ahmad Riley.
And sparked a little bit of debate from some people that I was actually talking to listen to the game. But a subject nonetheless is that time for Thomas it does not matter. Here's Ahmad Riley at the plate. He walked and stole a base in his last at-bat. First pitch up the middle. Shortstop coming on to make the play. There's one on the first. Double play! So a 6-3 double play turned there by shortstop Landon Richard. And the inning is over. So no runs, one hit, 2 men left on base as we go into the bottom of the third inning. Titans unable to get anything on the board as the Wranglers come to bat. You're watching Titans Baseball on the Vype Sports Media Network. Titans baseball on the Vype Sports Media Network as we get a couple of scores from around Major League Baseball and Minor League Baseball as we get set and ready to go as the Texas Rangers open their series against the Mariners in Seattle. They opened their series against the Mariners at 8:40 p.m. after splitting the series with the Athletics after a 9-6 win yesterday against the former Oakland A's. The Orioles currently lead 6-4 against the Guardians with 2 outs in the top of the 9th. So that first pitch is swung on and missed for a strike. And we'll get some scores from the Round Rock Express later on in the broadcast. So back to the top of the order. Here's Landon Dyer at the plate. He got a base hit and stole second in his last go-around. And that time takes a hit by a pitch. And we'll head to first base.
Number 29, Cannon Fitz.
So exactly like last game, Dyer gets a hit by a pitch, except this time he stole second before that. So runner on first early on for the left-handed hitting Cannon Fitz at the plate. Walked in his last at-bat before being stranded in the bottom of the first inning. Big lead off at first by Dyer. First pitch chopped down the first base side. This will be foul, 0-1. Well, a lot of solid defense out here on both sides as we want to mention the nice double play we saw just a second ago. We can get those up. Pitch is a strike, 0-2. Maud Riley grounding into that double play, turned by shortstop Landon Richer, taking it himself, touching second and throwing the first for the double play to get out of that inning. 0-2 count to Fitz. Here's the 0-2. Runner goes. Outside pitch for a ball. Throw down is not in time. He is safe as Landon Dyer gets his second stolen base of the game. And once again, he is on at second. Again, Dyer just has some lightning speed out there. He doesn't even have to take that big of a lead before going because he just has that lightning speed. Pitch fouled back behind the plate, 1-2 the count to Fitz. That time he took a solid lead. Nothing too crazy where you look and go he's automatically going, but enough I was able to carry him into second by a good amount. 1-2 pitch to Fitz. Chopped down the third base side. I believe this will roll foul, and it will. Count will remain 1-2. Home plate umpire asking that a ball change occur, and it does. So mentioning here minor league scores, as turns out I cannot log in for my scores. So we'll get to that later. Here's the 1-2 Fitz. Off speed, outside for a ball. Count even at 2. Sun slowly coming down as the lights dim here in the booth. The 2-2 pitch to Fitz. Popped up, third base side. This will get out of play and the count will remain 2-2. I got to turn my audio gain off as the glass shattering sound effect that you would hear at the Dell Diamond plays over the PA system. Usually followed by, uh-oh, someone's in the market for a new car. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Curveball popped third base side and again out of play as Fitz is putting up a battle here. Count remains 2-2. And Fitz, of course, been having some solid at-bats in the last couple of games, including the one where he had 2 hit by pitches, that time hitting that one into the cattle pin, according to the PA system. Count still 2-2. Here comes the evened up pitch over to Fitz. Fouled again, 2-2 as he continues this battle. He's not going down easy. We might see double digit pitches in this at bat alone if it keeps up the way it is. Pulling off a Dave Roberts right now. Or I should say Alex Cora. The 2-2 pitch. Curveball swung on and missed, strike 3. Second strikeout of the game for third strikeout of the game for Lincona. As there's One gone here in the inning. Which brings up pitcher Kellen Pickle to the plate. So here's Kellen Pickle to the plate as Dyer takes a big lead off at second. Not really being held up by any of the middle infielders. First pitch to Pickle. Fastball outside for a ball, 1-0 the count to Pickle. Pickle in his last at-bat reached on an error on that bunt, which eventually loaded up the bases before that RBI bunt by Blake DeShazo got that run in. Next pitch is outside again for a ball as they throw down to second to try and get Dyer back, and they get him back, but no out on that one. 2-0 count. Dyer with a ginormous lead at second. The 2-0 pitch. Off speed, called for a strike, 2-1 the count to Kellen Pickle, who in this game has already tossed 4 strikeouts from the mound. Showing off that blazing fastball that he's got and that accuracy control. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Off speed pitch, high for a ball, 3-1, missing the zone. Tried to get that one to die down and adjust eye levels, but missed. And a hitter's count, 3-1. Well, if you're Lincona right here, you might want to try and paint a corner, but try and get something that's somewhere that the batter's going to approach. 3-1. Goes for it on that one. It's a strike, 3-2 the count. Lincona's not a guy that has any like blazing stuff when it comes to his fastball, but he's somebody that has a fastball and uses it almost like Greg Maddux would, where he just try and paint the corners there, and he's able to get consistent swings and misses, or sometimes just get some weak contact. The 3-2 pitch will not be thrown yet as he checks the runner back to second, not in time. Lincona gets his sign. The payoff pitch on the way. Runner goes to third, swing and a miss, strike 3, and no throw down as Dyer will steal his third base of the game, stealing third base. And Pickle goes down for the second out of the inning.
Number 20, Alex Hoppe.
Well, on that 3-2 pitch, Dyer the whole time I kind of teased like he was going to go, even was able to bait catcher Selenak to throw to second before eventually going on a pitch and timing where there was nothing that could be done with a throw to third. So here's Alex Hoppe at the plate, struck out in his last at bat, and he takes strike 1, 0-1. Right now, El Paso is down to the Round Rock Express in a 2-1 ball game at the top of the second. This one's popped up. Shortstop Thomas coming underneath this one and making the catch and inning over on that play. So no runs, no hits, and a man left on third base. So we now approach the top of the 4th inning. Game still tied. You are watching Titans Baseball on the Vype Sports Media Network. We'll be right back after this break. Titans baseball on the Vype Sports Media Network. We head to the top of the 4th inning in this tied-up ball game. 1-1 here in this one. As Gabriel Posada steps up to the plate. He struck out in his last at-bat. Early on, strike one. Here's the 0-1 pitch by Pickle. Off speed, popped up, first base side. This will get out of play again, 0-2. A 2-strike count and not towards the parking lot, at least according to the PA system. The 2-strike offering. Fastball, outside part of the plate, called for a ball 1-2. And Pickle's fastball has some zip on it. A Ryan Express-like fastball that he brings up out of nowhere with a Steven Strasburg-like motion. The 1-2 pitch. Line drive left field, coming back underneath this one and making a catch. Over his head is left fielder DeShazo for the first out of the inning. So a good piece of hitting there by Gabriel Posada as he was able to line that one into left field. Looked like it had a chance of going over. Looked like it had a solid chance of going over DeShazo's head, but he reaches over and gets some good timing on that one and makes a catch for the first out of the inning. Luis Villegas at the plate, the pitcher in the last game. We got the RBI double and the only run so far of the game for the New Tech Titans. Takes ball 1-0. He comes into this at bat with a good amount of confidence as time called. Trying to step off and get the pitcher's timing off a bit. It's been a cat and dog matchup the last two games with calling time and trying to mess up the timing by both sides. Here's a 1-0. Line drive into center field. This one's going to be a base hit for Villegas, who pokes that one into center field. His second hit of the night. So a single and a double for Villegas. And early on got a runner on at first.
Number 9, Evan Langham.
Well, a good piece of hitting there after calling time and just waiting on that fastball and just getting good timing on it, poking it right back up the middle where it came from. Doing a solid piece of work hitting. So here's Langham at the plate. Swings and misses for a strike 0-1. Base hit in his last at-bat as he poked one out to right field, getting the runners on the corners before they got left stranded in the top half of the second. Villegas with a decent lead at first. 0-1 pitch. Off speed into dirt for a ball 1-1 to count to Langham. Langham has had some solid work at the plate as he's been a guy that kind of works counts and is able to get the bat on the ball, like we mentioned earlier, poking it into other sides of the field. As Villegas forces a throw back to first, that is not in time. Even count 1-1-1. The runner on first. The 1-1-1 pitch. Ball low, 2-1 in the dirt as Pickles going with the overpowering fastball. Tried the outside corner and missed. 2-1 the count. Two-one pitch on the way. Fastball called strike 2-2 the count as that one clipped the corner on that one. Count even at 2. And for a matchup that has two teams where the winner's going to lead the district, this has always been a back and forth matchup throughout the week. The 2-2 offering coming to Langham from the stretch. Here it is. Off speed, popped up first base side. This will get out of play. 2-2 remains. Langham once again trying to keep Pickles' pitch count up, knowing that he has done an excellent job establishing his pitch arsenal. Conservative lead at first by Villegas. 2-2 pitch. Ball high, 3-2. He went for the off-speed pitch and missed. Trying to break that in from the inside part of the plate near the batter's box into the inside corner, but that time brought a little too far in a full count, 3-2. Villegas keeping his lead short. from the stretch. The payoff pitch. Chop to second base. Could be two. Turns over. There's one. On to first. Double play. 4-6-3 double play. As Evan Langham was not able to beat that throw out. Inning over. So it was Dyer tossing over to Richard, and Richard throwing over to Fitz for the double play. 3 up, 3 down here in the inning. As New Tech able to get a base runner on, but not able to do anything with it. So we head to the bottom half of the inning. Wranglers come to bat. You're watching Titans baseball on the Vype Sports Media Network. Titans baseball on the Vype Sports Media Network. Blake DeShazo at the plate. I've been saying DeShazo the whole time. It is DeShazo at the plate. First pitch, line drive in the left field. That's a base hit for DeShazo, who swings at the first pitch and gets a solid single to start this inning. Gets the off-speed pitch on the outside part of the plate, but turns on it
Number 15, Kenneth DeLeon.
between third and short and gets a nice little base hit in the left field. Not wasting any time trying to get this rally started. Well, as we're going to mention, the Titans grinding into back-to-back double plays to end innings. First one was a 6-3 double play to Landon McKay. The second one was a 4-6-3 double play that was turned in the top half of the fourth inning. The rally killer early on. So here's Kenneth DeLeon at the plate. He drops down a bunt. It's going to be foul, 0-1. DeLeon popped out to center field in his last at-bat. After DeShazo got the RBI bunt on the suicide squeeze, scoring in Dyer in the bottom of the first. 0-1 count in this one. Wind now blowing in more towards third base. Still right to left. 0-1 pitch, dropping down the bunt. This one is going to be fair. A nice little fielding job. Throw to first in time for the out. So a sacrifice bunt by Kenneth DeLeon moves DeShazo over to second. There's one out here in the inning, but a runner in scoring position now for A.J. Martinez.
Number 24, A.J. Martinez.
Martinez in his last at-bat popped out to short, which eventually ended the inning. First pitch. Curveball, just missing the inside corner for a ball, 1-0. So far, what we've seen is a pitcher's duel here in this one. Two teams that are well at scoring runs, like we mentioned. In the last 7 games, this Wranglers offense has averaged 19 runs per game. Pitch outside for a ball, 2-0. Most of those coming from the 45-run win against Austin Achieve, which we talked to head coach before the game. A good win, but not something that was meant to happen. Here's a 2-0 pitch. Popped up behind the plate, 2-1 the count. But I mean, every now and then in high school sports, you get those wins where you know they happen, but you also treat it good. And that's what this offense has tried to do in that game. pulled out all the tools, but unsuccessful on that part. The 2-1 pitch. Curveball, swing and a miss for a strike, 2-2 to Martinez, and a good curveball there by Lincona, going from the inside part of the plate once again, that time more towards the left-handed batter's box, giving Martinez a fastball look, and time called by Martinez. While mentioning games that were of that scoring magnitude, don't forget Manor New Tech had a game against Travis where they won 22-1, and the game before that was a 13-1 victory, so a couple blowouts there. Curveball, swing and a miss, strike 3. Lincona's got his 4th strikeout of the game as he sits down Martinez for the second out of the inning. So back-to-back pitches on the curveball. Back-to-back pitches that he just went right with the deuce on and was able to drop it down and get Martinez swinging again for the second out. Bringing in shortstop Landon Richard to the plate, who turned that double play in the 3rd inning. First pitch on the outside corner for a strike, 0-1. He fielded that ground ball from short in the 3rd inning to throw to first, and then was able to make the put out at second and toss to first in the 4th inning for the second double play of the game. The 0-1 pitch. Inside and hit him. So now runners at first and second with 2 outs, bringing in Landon McKay to the plate this time. And I said McKay the first time. It was Landon Richard, I should say.
Number 13, Landon McKay.
McKay grounded out to short in his last at-bat, ending the inning. Now comes in with 2 runners on base with 2 outs, and an opportunity here for the Wranglers to not only take a lead, but possibly open this game. The first pitch. Outside ball, 1-0. We see DeShazo out there taking a solid secondary lead after the pitch. Definitely looking to go on anything hit. 1-0 count. Here's the pitch. Outside for a ball, 2-0. And right now Lincona knows that all it takes is one little bitty single, and suddenly you get that runner from second in to score. So he's trying to approach this at bat by kind of dancing with the strike zone, but here needs to kind of get a little bit close. Wouldn't be surprised if he goes for the fastball on the inside part of the plate. 2-0. Curveball inside the part of the plate, called for a strike. 2-1. And he's done an excellent job of executing that curveball on the corners of the plate. The 2-1 pitch on the way. Curveball popped up left field, should be playable. Langham coming in underneath this one and making the catch to end the inning. So 2 runners left stranded on base. 1 base hit, 2 on base, no runs, as the Titans are able to get out of that one unscathed as we go into the top of the 5th inning now, more than the halfway point. Tie game here. You're watching Titans baseball on the Vype Sports Media Network. We'll be right back after a short break. Titans baseball on the Vype Sports Media Network. We head into the top of the 5th inning now, as this one's gone quick so far. A pitcher's duel out here in Liberty Hill, Texas. For those of y'all just tuning in, I'm Dalton Brown. Merle Bertrand is our broadcast director. Suda Van Cat, our product manager, and Les DeSalvo, our quality analyst. Chris Sneed at the plate as he takes the first 2 pitches, swinging and missing for strikes, 0-2. Cohen Pickle automatically using that fastball early on in the at-bat. They set up outside. There's the 0-2. Fastball for a ball, 1-2. They try to set him up outside after chasing at the first 2 pitches. Going in for a ball, 2-2. So Pickle has thrown 4 pitches, all of them fastballs, all on the outside part of the plate, as he found out that Sneed has a tendency of swinging there, and I'm sure he'll try and mix it up. Here's a 2-2 pitch. Off speed, high for a ball, 3-2. So going from a pitcher's count 0-2 to a full count 3-2. Changing the trajectory of this at bat. From the windup, here's the payoff pitch on the way. Inside corner, called strike 3 on the fastball. Pickle getting his second strikeout of the game, and Sneed striking out for the second time. 1 away.
Number 3, Eddie Latona.
And that time, all he did really was just overpower the fastball in that bat, just mixing up location, mainly going outside before eventually hitting the inside corner. So here's pitcher Eddie Lincona to the plate as he takes ball 1-0. He struck out in his last at-bat. But struck out 4 of his own. Fastball outside, called for a strike, 1-1. Like we mentioned, this team is full of sophomores and freshmen and a lot of lowerclassmen that have been known, have known that they'll be taking a leadership role within the next couple of years and trying to establish that leadership early on as they get a strike 1-2. The 1-2 pitch to Lincona. Off speed, ball 2-2 as he just barely missed the outside corner. Lincona stays alive. 2-2 count here, and here's the evened up pitch. Fastball, swing and a miss, strike 3. Lincona goes down for strikes for the second time this game. Pickle retires 6 in this one. 2 away here in the inning. We head back to the top of the order.
Number 1, Kingston Coulter.
And that's just, again, barely using any off-speed stuff, just really trying to overpower the fastball and say, here it is, take it. Bringing in Kingston Coulter to the plate, 1-0. Coulter 0 for 2 at this game, grounded out to the pitcher and popped out into second on a nice diving play by Dyer. Fastball high, 2-0, hitting the backstop. It's always frustrating as a hitter when you know you get a good hit. You get a good piece of it, but the deep guy playing out there in the infield just makes a solid ESPN-type play, taking back that glory. 2-0 the count. Coulter, like we said last game, pitched 4 1/3 innings, striking out 8 batters in relief after coming into the top of the first inning. Giving up 2 runs in that one. So the count is now 2-0. Hitter's counters the 2-0 pitch. Fastball, fly ball down the first base side. I believe this will be out of play, and it will be into the bullpen, 2-1. Well, late on that fastball that we, of course, have seen all night from Pickle, and he just poked it the other way. Able to get a piece of it, but not playing cricket here, and that's a foul ball. Pitch is high for a ball, 3-1. That time he went to the off-speed pitch going with the changeup. Tried it on the outside high corner and missed. 3 balls and 1 strike. Coulter in a hitter's count. Here's the 3-1. Off-speed, ball 4, and Coulter reaches first base. Now that is the 3rd walk given up by Cohen Pickle in this game. So it brings up the left-handed hitting Nate Salonak to the plate. Struck out and walked so far in this game. Coulter with some speed over there at first base takes a conservative lead. From the stretch, first pitch. Inside corner, called for a strike, 0-1. Such an awkward position there by A.J. Martinez to have to be into as he set up outside, but was still able to catch that one within the zone and make sure the home plate umpire knows that is a strike. Pickoff move over the first down in time as Coulter gets back safely. trying to keep the speed off the base path. Well, the Rangers and Mariners get started off right now in Seattle as the Rangers look to get some revenge for their evened up series against the Athletics. The game is on Victory Plus. Pitch on the outside corner called for a strike, 0-2. Once again, Pickle, like we said, has some zip on that fastball, but has also done an excellent job of getting ahead in counts and not having many hitters counts allowed in this game. Checking on Coulter at first. Trying to get the timing messed up. We will see time called. No, he won't. 0-2. Ground ball, third base, feeling it over to his right, but foul. Third baseman Brady Howells fielded that one over to his right, and a nice little pick there, but just eating that one up as that one was still foul. 0-2. Just watching that runner at first. 0-2. Inside ball, 1-2. That fastball, of course, you'll hear a lot of teammates say wear it on that one, but with the fastball that Pickle's been delivering, I don't think you want to wear that. You're going to be wearing that for weeks. The last thing you want to let happen. 1-2 count. The pitch to Salinak will not be delivered yet. Pickoff move to first, not in time. Of course, in Major League Baseball, that last disengagement would mean that the next one, if failed, would move the runner to second. But of course, this is UIL baseball. Well, the rules are a wee bit different there. The 1-2 pitch, runner goes. Pitch is inside, doesn't matter. Strike three called on the fastball, inning over. Pickle with his 7th strikeout of the game ends the inning. Salinak goes down on strikes for the second time, that time looking. So, no runs, no hits, one man left on base as we head to the bottom half of the inning. The Wranglers will come back to bat. You're watching Titans Baseball on the Vype Sports Media Network. Well, here's a news segment I decided to start. We always know I like to do Today in Texas History, but today we're doing Today in Random History that nobody would have thought of. We're going to mention one of the weirdest facts that I was just texted just a second ago as we return to the Titans Baseball on the Vype Sports Media Network. This one's lined into center field. That is a base hit for Landon Dyer, his 2nd hit of the night, and now Dyer and his 3 stolen bases are on first. This is the most random fact that I get sent from my buddy. The very first Sesame Street guest in 1969 was James Earl Jones, of all people, reciting the alphabet. That is what I get texted while I'm calling a game. So here's Cannon Fitz at the plate. He's 0 for 1, walked and struck out in this game as he chops this one to first base. Nice play by Riley. That's that one's bobbled. Riley will go to first with the force down, have to get 1, and that's all he'll get for the first out. So he ground out to third where it was just slightly bobbled there by Ahmad Riley, avoiding him from turning 2, but regardless, he gets that first down, and now a runner on second. But Dyer gets into scoring position now as Cohen Pickle comes to the plate. 0 for 2 in this game. Reached on an error and struck out in this one after he bunted in his first at-bat. Dyer taking a good lead off at second. First pitch. Line drive, left field. Camping in underneath this one and making a good catch is the left fielder Langham for the second out of the inning. Well, I'll tell you what, that ball when it left the bat looked like it was going at least 350 feet, but one angle, two wind, pushed that one back for the second out. And that was a good piece of hitting there by Cohen Pickle. He jumped on that first pitch, off-speed pitch, and just got a good piece of that one into left field, but just right into the glove of Evan Langham, who was just waiting right there for the second out. So here's Alex Hoppick to the plate. First pitch is a strike 0-1. He struck out and popped out the shortstop in these two at-bats. 0-1 the count. Runner on second, 2 outs. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Curveball again, fouled back, 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes in this at-bat as Hoppick has done a solid job in this game of making plays in left field. Timeout is called. Was able to get a put out on Gabriel Posada earlier. A tough play out there and get underneath it. The 0-2 pitch. Excuse me, this is the designated hitter, Hoppick. That was DeShazo who actually made that play. I have it mixed up. That's on me. 1-2. Love when I use Microsoft Word for my lineup sheets. Not the most efficient way, but it's a way nonetheless. Here's the 2-strike offering. Curveball popped up first base side. This will be out of play, and it will be. Try not to start dying laughing or chuckling from these PA noises. Feels like that trend when you squeeze a rubber chicken in front of someone's face, try not to get in the crack. 1-2 pitch. Curveball popped up again first base side. All right, straight face, don't. All right, that time it was the glass shattering. 1-2. Hoppick making a battle in this at-bat. Making sure that 2-strike count feels like a 10-strike count. Swing and a miss, strike 3, and eventually Lencona wins the battle. His 5th strikeout of the inning, and that will retire the side. So, after that, no runs, 1 hit, and 1 man left on base as we head into the 6th inning now. Still nothing doing since the 2nd inning. You're watching Titans Baseball on the Vype Sports Media Network. We'll be right back right after this short break. Titans baseball on the Vype Sports Media Network. We head to now the 6th inning as this game is heading into the twilight hours of it. 8:50 p.m., 1 hour, 20 minutes game time as Zane Thomas leads off the top half of the 6th inning. First pitch popped up third base side, losing his hat, and still making the catch on that one is the third baseman Brady Howells for the first out of the inning. Losing the hat and still staying with that one. A nice play there.
Number 12, Ahmad Riley.
From the hot corner by the defense only in this game, Howells. The wind blowing takes no effect except for losing his hat. Here's Ahmad Riley to the plate. First pitch, swung on a miss for a strike, 0-1. He's walked into this at-bat, stolen the base, and grounded into that 6-3 double play back in the third inning. Pickle gets his sign. Here's the 0-1. Pitch outside for a ball, 1-1 the count. And I'm going to mention this story a second because I mentioned it during the break. Like I said, one things that'll get me to chuckle and laugh, for whatever reason I can't name, funny foul ball sounds whenever a ball goes out of play, and I'll explain why. Pitch is outside corner, called for a strike, 1-2. There was a game I went to at the Dell Diamond a few years ago. Me and my buddies go, and it's Bark in the Park night of all things. So we're sitting there, this game's going on. There's probably hundreds of dogs out there. And a foul ball goes out of play over the first base side. Curveball popped up into center field. Should be routine. Coming underneath this one to make the catch is Kenneth DeLeon for the second out of the inning. So anyways, foul ball is hit, and out of all sounds,
Number 11, Gabe Posada.
is the Ring doorbell sound effect from, like, you know, the Ring app. And you hear 100 or so dogs row up the stadium, and it goes on for like 2 minutes before somebody's able to finally calm those dogs down. And then eventually after that, they play a cat sound effect, which didn't do as much effect as the doorbell sound effect, but, you know, still got me nonetheless. So here's Gabriel Posada at the plate, 0 for 2 in this one, as he takes strike one in this at-bat. 1-1. Posada struck out and flew out to left in this at-bat, being that nice little play out there by DeShazo earlier. Here's the 1-1. Line drive this time in the right field. Coming under, making the catch. Unable to make that play over to his left, but a nice attempt is first baseman Cannon Fitz. A nice attempt there by Fitz, diving over to his left to try and make that catch, but that ball just popped in and out of his glove. 2-strike count. Again, from that side, that ball's coming at you faster than it looks from here. That was a Sports Center-like play. Here's the 1-2. Outside part of the plate for a ball, 2-2. So an even up count here at 2-2. Pickle gets his sign from the windup. Here's the 2-2. Popped up first base side. Here we go again. Honestly, a good song. Was not expecting that. It got me off guard. I was like, here we go. But that one actually was a curveball of my own. 2-2 pitch. Fastball. Nice little play there by Pickle, who will roll this one to first in time for the out. So 3 up, 3 down, as Cohen Pickle is able to get out of this one unscathed. So no runs, no hits, no errors, no men left on base. We head to the bottom of the 6th inning, still tied 1-1 as Sweet Caroline plays throughout the stadium. You're watching Titans Baseball on the Vype Sports Media Network. Titans baseball on the Vype Sports Media Network as we head into the bottom half of the 6th inning now. Score still tied 1-1. Blake DeShazo to the plate. Takes first pitch for a ball, 1-0. DeShazo, 1 for 2 in this game, an RBI bunt and a base hit in this one. Proving he can do it all in this series. Here's the 1-0. Off speed, inside for a ball, 2-0 the count to DeShazo. For those of y'all just tuning in, I'm Dalton Brown. Merle Bertrand is our broadcasting director. Suna Van Cat, our product manager. And Les DeSalvo, our quality analyst. Ground ball to short. Nice play by Thomas. Throw the first in time for the out. 1 away here in the inning. So a 6-3 put out there for DeShazo as Thomas is able to field that one over to his left. Kind of make a routine throw while still having to get that off in plenty of time for the first out of the inning.
Number 15, Kenneth DeLeon.
So Kenneth DeLeon to the plate now. The first pitch to DeLeon is a curveball high for a ball, 1-0. DeLeon hit a fly out to center and had a sac bunt earlier for leaving a runner stranded. DeShazo. Outside corner, called strike, 1-1 the count to DeShazo. Excuse me, to DeLeon. 1-1. The 1-1 pitch on the way by Lincona. Popped up, first base side. I believe this might be out of reach. No, coming in and making the attempt at the catch, but no avail. As Riley can't get to that one, it's into the dugout for a 1-2 count. So 2-strike count here. 1 out, bottom of the 6th inning. And you always love the occasional pitcher's duel. The 1-2 pitch. Curveball, ground ball, third base. That's going to be a base hit for Kenneth DeLeon after going 0 for 2 to start the game. He gets a base hit down to third base just past the diving third baseman, Dom Hidalgo. Run off first with 1 out. Which brings up J.J. Herzog to the plate now. Herzog, the pinch hitter for shortstop Landon Richer. Something that might be all for his game today more than likely. And that brings in Herzog. Last game, Herzog had an RBI sacrifice fly and then struck out 3 times in that game. We'll get an opportunity to face the right-handed pitcher. Pitch inside for a ball, 1-0 the count. Lincona has done an excellent job of getting strikeouts, but also making sure to hit the zone and force some weak contact. And some strong contact as well with the defense out there. Here's a 1-0. Inside ball, 2-0 the count. Of course, my dad has apparently been a quality analyst as well, telling me the stream's a little too loud, so gotta love when that happens too. Runner at first taking a good lead. 2-0 pitch, that's a strike. 2-1. And correction, he's actually pinch hitting for A.J. Martinez, I should say. So I got that mixed up in my notes. Here's the 2-1. Runner goes. Pitches popped up. A hit and run is successful. A base hit in the left field. Tripping while heading to second. And this one's bobbled out in left field. Every runner went back. So a single and an error in the outfield puts runners at second and third on the pinch hit single by J.J. Herzog on the hit and run. So here's what happened. DeLeon ran on that pitch, forcing the shortstop Thomas to come in and cover. At the same time, Herzog poked that the other way for a base hit, and eventually left fielder Langham bobbled that one up and was unable to pick that up. So a pitching matchup. Excuse me. So pitching coach will come out to do a little meeting. We'll take a break here on the Vype Sports Media Network. So after the back-to-back base hits, we get Landon Richard to the plate. Runners on second and third. Corners are in. Infielders all in. Pitch outside for a ball, 1-0. Well, the way they scored a run last time was the suicide squeeze by Blake DeShazo back in the first inning, so an opportunity for them to do that again. They are going to do it. Runner goes. Bunt missed. There's one out and no throw to second, so the attempt of the suicide squeeze fails. 2 away here in the inning. And that time Lincona throwing a high curveball. Broke way too high, but luckily out of reach of the bat of Richard. He was able to catch DeLeon in no man's land. Tag him out at third. Thought about going to second to get Herzog, but decided to hold it there. And there's now 2 away here in the inning. So, learning from the last run scored back in the first inning when they did the suicide squeeze, that time they decided to go with the high pitch out of reach. And it worked to success as catcher Salinag just got up and ready to run. He popped up expecting to make that tag. So 2-0 count now to Richard. Runner on second with 2 outs. 2-0 pitch. Change up, outside corner, called for a strike, 2-1 the count. So count 2-1 here in this at bat. 2-1 pitch. Popped up in the infield. Should be playable. Thomas coming in underneath this one and making the catch for the final out of the inning. So after a bit of a jam there with runners on second and third, they're able to get the out on the failed suicide squeeze and then pop one out to short to end the inning. So no runs, 2 hits, 1 man left on base as we head to the top of the 7th inning of this pitcher's duel. Still tied up. All it takes is 1 run to make and break this game. You're watching Titans Baseball on the Vype Sports Media Network. We will be right back after this short break. Back to the top of the 7th inning, the last inning of regulation in this one. Still a 1-1 game. All it takes is that 1 run to start some momentum. Watching Titans Baseball on the Vype Sports Media Network. Here's Luis Villegas at the plate. He has a double and a single in this game and is credited with the only RBI so far for the Titans. Starts us off with a 1-0 count. Cohen Pickle comes back to the mound. 7 strikeouts on the night. popped up behind the plate foul. The second straight Wranglers pitcher to start a game and bring it into the 7th inning. Blake DeShazo doing it on Tuesday, giving up just 3 runs. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Fastball, swing and a miss, strike 2, 1-2 the count. Like we mentioned, this is 2 teams that have both been known to light up the offense throughout the season, but they've also been known for their stellar pitching and excellent defense out in the field. 1-2 count. Popped up behind the plate, foul again. Count will remain 1-2. The wind continues to blow heavily. Count remains 1-2. DeShazo from the windup. The 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. DeShazo records his 8th strikeout of the game. 1 away in the top of the 7th. And again, fastball, 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 and eventually bringing in the off-speed pitch. And they're going to say it was a drop third strike. They're going to say it was a drop third strike. And that he reached first safely. So hold on, there's going to be a little bit of discussion by the head coach as good heads-up base running by Villegas as they're saying that that ball might have hit the dirt. And that is why coaches always teach. Coaches always teach to run on any drop third strike no matter what the situation, and that's exactly why Villegas heads up base running, able to reach first safely, and he will be taking out of this one and bringing in a pinch runner in for relief.
Number 9, Evan Langham.
So Evan Langham will come up to the plate, and of course, it looked close on that one. And 2 things. 1, coaches always teach run on the drop third strike, and they also teach for catchers, make the tag on that one or make a throw to first to always secure that out. Now runner on first with nobody out. The relief runner goes back in safely. Langham 1 for 2, base hit and grounded out into that 4-6-3 double play back in the 4th inning. Pitch high for a ball, 1-0. So 1 ball, no strike, a conservative lead from first base. Here's the pitch. Pitch inside corner, called for a strike, 1-1. Langham able to build counts as he's been able to do all year long, but Pickle doing an excellent job out here on the mound. The 1-1 pitch. Chop to second, could be 2. There's 1, on to first. Double play for the 2nd time. Evan Langham grounds into the 4-6-3 double play. And that drop third strike shows to not amount to anything as there's 2 away here in the inning. Once again, it's Dyer over to Richer, back over to Fitz for the 4-6-3 double play. And there's 2 away. And a pinch hitter now coming to the plate
Number 6, Adrian.
for Manor. This is number 6, Adrian Stone, in to hit for right fielder Chris Sneed. Once again, a nice solid play there as we've seen all day long from that combo in the middle infield. It is Dyer over to Richer, then back over to Fitz. And that is the 3rd double play in this game turned by the Wranglers. Stone swings and misses for strike 1, 0-1 the count. Pickle waits, 0-1. Fastball down the middle for a strike, 0-2. And an opportunity to get out of this inning for the Wranglers with a game still tied. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Fastball, outside ball, 1-2. I'll tell you what, again, excellent defense, excellent pitching all the way around from both sides. Here's the 1-2 pitch by Pickle. Chopped up the middle. This could be a play. Reaching over and throwing across the diamond for first is Landon Richard getting the 6-3 put out to end the inning. So we will head into the bottom of the 7th inning. The Titans will need to get 3 outs to extend this one. Wranglers need 1 run to sweep this series. You're watching Titans Baseball on the Vype Sports Media Network. We'll be right back with the bottom half of the final inning.
Number 13, Landon McKay.
Well, after 7 solid innings, Kellen Pickles able to go the distance and keep this game tied heading into the bottom of the 7th inning, where Eddie Lincona also looks to do the same. It's a tied game here in Liberty Hill, Texas, as number 13, Landon McKay, comes to the plate. He's 0 for 2 in this one with a ground out to short and a fly out to left field in this one. Both pitchers throwing solid games with great defense right behind them. Here's the 0-1. Foul back, 0-2. But, of course, got to give major props out to the middle infield for the Wranglers. Dyer and Richer holding it down for Legacy Ranch. Count 0-2 to McKay. Popped up first base side, and this will be foul, 0-2. And our quality analyst having some trouble connecting to the internet. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Chopped up the middle. This could be a nice play. Crashing in and making this throw to first. It's not in time. Second baseman Gabriel Posada unable to get to that one. An infield single for Landon McKay, and we got ourselves a runner on first with nobody out. A nice little poke there by McKay as he's able to chop that one over the head of Lincona. And second baseman Posada had to come crashing in on that one over to his right and throw across his body the first, and was unable to get that one in time. Once again, a runner on first with nobody out, bringing in Landon Dyer to the plate. Bunt drawn, throw to second on the runner going. Not in time, a stolen base by Landon McKay. 4th stolen base of the night for the Wranglers. And a runner now 180 feet away from scoring that winning run. McKay kind of shaken up on that one, but he's able to get right back up. Coach will come out there to check on him. But what a solid job there by McKay, able to run on that first pitch. Dyer was drawing a bunt on that one, but pulled back as that first pitch was a high ball. And that is now the 4th combined stolen base in this game for Legacy Ranch. The winning run at second now, Landon Dyer, who is 2 for 2 in this game. He singled twice in this one, been hit by a pitch, and stole 3 bases in this one. Stole second twice and stole third once. McKay taking a solid lead. Landon, and Landon, back-to-back-to-back hitters. Bunt drawn. This one's a ball, 2-0. Nobody covering second as that big lead by McKay doesn't amount to much. Left-handed hitter now with good contact and good speed, looking to move that runner over to third. Corners are in. The 2-0 pitch. Hit by pitch for the second time this game. And that will force the runner McKay back to second, bringing in Cannon Fitz to the plate. An opportunity here for Fitz, who was hit by pitch twice last game, to be able to make some room here. Lancona in a jam. First and second, nobody out. Corners in. First pitch, fly ball to center field. This one's going back over his head, and making the catch on that play is center fielder Kingston Coulter. What a play by Coulter, going over his head on that one and making a play in that tough win for the first out. That is a nice play there as Fitz put a charge into that one in the center field. He had to run back on that one like Willie Mays in 1954 at the Polo Grounds. Of course, it wasn't quite an over-the-back catch, but an over-the-shoulder will still get you the out for the first out, which brings in today's starting pitcher, Cohen Pickle, to the plate. Pickle in this one, 0 for 3, reached on an error, struck out and flew out to left. Has gone the distance in this one on the mound. It'd be something if he was able to walk this one off for the Wranglers. And he will show bunt. Infielders crashing in. He's going to charge back and swing. Ground this one back to the pitcher. He'll have to go to first for the force out. 2 away. Pickle grounds out to the pitcher. 2 away. So he showed bunt, swung away, but was still able to do the job that was necessary. Second and third with 2 outs, bringing in number 14. A pinch hitter, I should say. No, actually they're gonna go and do the intentional walk. They're gonna walk the bases loaded here for number 14, Braden Casper, who came in a pinch hit.
Number 7, Blake DeShazo.
So Casper, bases loaded with 2 outs, brings in pitcher Blake DeShazo from Tuesday. He's got a base hit in this one, an RBI bunt, and grounded out to third. Wouldn't this be his week if he gets a hit here? Chopped to short. Thomas crashing in on it. They throw to first in time for the out. What a play! Inning over. So they get out of the bases loaded jam, and they will head into extra innings in this one. Free baseball here on the Vype Sports Media Network, a pitcher's duel that continues on. We will head into extra innings here on the Vype Sports Media Network. Score still 1-1. You're watching Titans baseball. Extra innings action here on the Vype Sports Media Network, and a pitcher's duel at that between these two teams. The pitching matchup of Cohen Pickle and Eddie Lincona heads into extra innings in this heavyweight matchup that we're seeing. Pitches a strike, 1-1 the count to the opposing pitcher Lincona. Lincona 0 for 2 is struck out twice in this one. There's a ball, 2-1 the count. Only one walk surrendered by Lincona. Foul back. 2-2 the count. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Fastball inside, ball 3, 3-2. In this series, the starting pitchers have combined for 13 2/3 innings in these two games that the Wranglers pitched. This will make it a whole 14. Chop to third. Crashing over to his left and making a routine throw to first in time is third baseman Brady Howes, who has played excellent third base this game for the first out. And that is going to do it. 14 combined innings by the two starting pitchers for the Wranglers. And Cohen Pickle will get a standing ovation here in Wranglerland. And a standing ovation he definitely deserves after that one. A wonderful performance out there on the mound. He struck out 8 while only walking 3 in this game and giving up that 1 run back in the top of the second inning. So we will have a pitching change here on the Vype Sports Media Network. We'll take a short break. While that change happens, you're watching Titans baseball. And after an excellent pitching performance out there on the mound by Cohen Pickle, forcing us into these extra innings, new pitcher on the mound is the southpaw Gabe Meza. So righty to lefty action here in the 8th inning. A change of arms as the right-handed hitter Kingston Coulter comes up. Coulter so far in this game 0 for 2, grounded out to the pitcher, flew out to second and walked in this one. First pitch low for a ball, 1-0 by the southpaw. Meza, as we saw, has a good fastball and some solid breaking stuff that breaks in on a right-handed batter, out on a left-handed. Line drive in the right field. This one's coming in and going down for a base hit. This one will roll all the way to the wall. Coulter rounding second, heading for third before this one's picked up, and he will head into third, standing. This one's going to get away. Here it comes to the plate. He will score. A triple on a throwing error by Kingston Coulter. And suddenly this is a new ball game. Lined that one in the right field, got past the right fielder McKay before it was thrown in, and Coulter turned on the wheels and never broke stride. It's a 2-1 game here in the 8th inning as the Titans take a lead. Brings up the switch hitter Salinak to the plate. 0 for 2 so far, struck out twice and walked in this one. Here's the 0-1. Outside for a ball, 1-1. That's a good piece of hitting there by Coulter, putting that one in the opposite field and turning on the Jets automatically as soon as he saw that ball getting past, and never really breaking stride or letting up on the gas. He turned at third without even knowing where that throw was at, getting a good lead before heading home. Strike on the outside corner, 1-2. I mentioned winner of this game will have first place in the district standings. And winner looks to get that. Outside corner, called strike 3 as Salinak goes down looking, and he had some words on that one before eventually going back to the dugout. And a good pitch there by Meza as he was able to go off speed on the outside corner and just paint it on that one, and for that one, that is Salinak's third strikeout of the game, getting the hat trick on that one. 2 gone here in the inning, bringing up Zane Thomas, who is 1 for 3 in this one. Flown out to left and center field and got a base hit in his second at bat as he takes strike 1, 0-1. Thomas with a Vladimir Guerrero-like stance, 0-1. Strike 0-2. No true bend in the knees by him. He keeps a good posture out there. Feet mildly wide open. 0-2 pitch. Outside corner, miss for a ball, 1-2. Meza tried to paint the corner on that one, but missed. Thomas looking to extend on this team's rally. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Inside corner, call strike 3, inning over. And Thomas does not like the call on that one as he heads back into the dugout and having to be restrained by coach. And that is the end of the inning, and that will be the end of the inning. So 1 run, 1 hit, and the Titans take the lead on that one as Thomas goes down for Meza's second strikeout. We will head into the bottom of the 8th inning. Titans look to get back in this one. They need 1 run to tie it, 2 to win it, but sorry, I got caught up there for a second. The Wranglers need 1 run to tie it, 2 to win it, as the Titans go into the bottom half of the inning. The score, 2-1. Bottom of the 8th inning in this one as the Titans were able to take a lead on a triple with a thrown error by Kingston Coulter with 1 out, making it a 2-1 game before Gabe Meza was able to strike out the next 2 batters in Nate Selenak and Zane Thomas. And coming to the mound in relief is Zane Thomas. Struck out 4 hitters in Tuesday's game, but gave up a few runs with that. Ball 1, 1-0. Kenneth DeLeon to the plate. He is currently in this one 1 for 3 as he's flown out, got a sacrifice bunt and a base hit in this one. 1-1 the count. DeLeon will step out of the box, try and get his timing. 1-1 by Thomas. Ball is high, 2-1. One thing Zane Thomas likes to do is he is a pace of play kind of pitcher where as soon as he gets the ball, he's ready to go. Ready to fire it in. Here's a 2-1. Line drive foul down the first base side, 2-2. It kind of reminds you of the fiery personality of some of the guys back in the 90s. Big on pace of play 30 years before the play clock even became a thing. Pitch clock, I should say. 2-2. Outside, called the ball, 3-2, and Thomas wanted that call but missed. We got ourselves a full count here. 3-2 count, here's the pitch. Time not granted, strike 3 called on the fastball, 1 away. Well, DeLeon tried to call time on that one, but like we've said before, umpire does not have to grant time. 1 away, but I'm pretty sure that time batter felt like he had plenty of time to get a time call, but nothing doing there. And it brings up A.J. Martinez to the plate. It comes back to hit. Line drive in the right field, foul as he tattooed that one down the first base line, 0-1. No balls and 1 strike. Here's the 0-1. Pitch outside for a ball, 1-1. This is a common theme. A couple guys knew about Thomas liking to go quick, and they would quickly hop into the batter's box, kind of like hopscotch. Here's the 1-1. Fastball down the middle, called for a strike, 1-2. Thomas slowly going in at this time. Here's the 1-2 pitch by Zane Thomas. Fastball, called strike 3, 2 gone here in the inning. First 2 batters up, 2 strikeouts. Martinez goes down for the second time. Landon Richer comes up to the plate. Titans 1 out away from taking the lead in the district and splitting this series in this tight pitchers duel. Richer 0 for 2 in this game, hit by a pitch, struck out and flew out to short. Foul back, 0-1. Thomas knows he would love nothing more than to get this save after Tuesday's game. The hunger strikes in that kid. Here's the 0-1. Fly ball foul, out of play, 0-2. And Thomas now 1 strike away here from collecting a save in this game. And splitting this series up. Here's the 0-2 pitch. On the corner, missed, 1-2. Oh, man, Zane jumped up and jolted, ready to celebrate, but did not get the call yet. The 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3, and that will split the series and take the district lead. Zane Thomas going to take this one out with the save. 3 strikeouts on the game. And that will do it here from Liberty Hill. An excellent job from both sides as Manor New Tech able to come in on this road game and tie this series up after that heartbreaking loss at home at 7-3. An excellent job from both teams. So we will take a short break here on the Vype Sports Media Network and bring you post-game coverage here. Final score here from Legacy Ranch, 2-1. We'll be right back after a short break to get you some post-game coverage. Well, post-game coverage here from Liberty Hill Legacy Ranch High School. The final in this one, 2-1, as Manor New Tech was able to split the series after a heartbreaking loss on Tuesday. They come into this one ready to play, and both teams were ready to play. Not one team came into this one wanting to let up, and you want to give credit where credit is due automatically. In these two games, the starting pitchers for Legacy Ranch were able to combine for 14 innings. The starting pitchers for both, as Cohen Pickle was able to pick up 8 strikeouts, only walking 3 batters, and giving up that 1 run back in the second inning on that RBI by Luis Villegas. But unfortunately, Gabe Mazza came into this one. He struck out 2 and did an excellent performance, but it was a triple with a thrown error by Kingston Coulter that eventually brought this to a 2-1 victory. As for your Manor New Tech Titans, they came in ready to play as well, as Eddie Lancona brought in the pitching depth. He was able to force weak contact, strike out 5 batters, and get out of tough jams, bases loaded jams, runners on second and third, runners on base throughout the entirety of this game, and not once did he let adversity get the best of him. He gave up 1 run in the first inning on that suicide squeeze by Blake DeShazo, as that was the only run that the Wranglers were able to get. And then eventually Luis Villegas, who on Tuesday, making a recovery from his Tuesday performance where he went 0 1/3 inning, gave up 3 runs, he got the game-tying RBI in the second inning to tie this one. Got a double and a single in this one, and was able to be a key contributor to why this game went into extra innings. And Kingston Coulter, the leadoff hitter, able to do his job as well. Hit one in the right field, get around third and head for the plate. Not break stride until that throw was thrown away, getting a 2-1 lead. And then Zane Thomas, even though he struck out, was able to strike out all 3 batters he faced in the bottom half of the 8th inning, getting the save and a 2-1 victory for the Liberty Hill, excuse me, for the Manor New Tech Titans. As for the remaining schedule for your Titans, they have 2 more games left on the season. They will head to Lago Vista on Tuesday at 7:30 to play against them, and then face off against Lago Vista again at home for their final regular season game of the season against the Vikings. So a couple of tough games. Shout out to Zane Carson, alumni for Lago Vista. And as for the Wranglers, they also have their remaining schedule remaining, as their last couple matchups will come up against Valor South Austin and Austin Achieve Northeast. So those are the last couple of games coming up for those two teams as the regular season winds down, heading into the road to the UIL State Championships for baseball. Well, that's going to do it here from Legacy Ranch High School. For Merle Bertrand, our broadcasting director, for Suna Van Cat, our product manager, and for Les DeSalvo, our quality analyst, bringing you all the action both at home, around the nation, around the state, and wherever you may be watching. My name is Dalton Brown saying good night from Liberty Hill, Texas. We will see you all on Lago Vista on Tuesday for that matchup against the Vikings as the regular season turns down and the playoff picture gets tighter. Good night, everybody, and God bless you all from Liberty Hill, Texas. We will see you guys next time on the Vype Sports Media Network.